Jacqueline, a young lady born with sickle cell disease, endured a life filled with pain and cruelty. When tragedy struck and took away the very people who loved and cared for her, Jacqueline's world crumbled. Yet, she refused to let life defeat her. This is a true life story of pain, betrayal, and an unbreakable will to achieve her dreams. Stay tuned as we dive deep into her emotional journey. The beginning. Mr. and Mrs. O'Connor were overjoyed when their daughter Jacqueline was born. She was their little angel. Her bright eyes and sweet smile could melt the hardest heart. But just 2 months later, their joy was tested when the doctor confirmed Jacqueline had sickle cell disease. Fear gripped their hearts, but their love was stronger. The promise to give Jacqueline the best life possible. Jacqueline grew up surrounded by warmth and care. Despite her health struggles, she radiated happiness and had a spirit that refused to be dimmed. One evening, as Mr. and Mrs. O'Connor tried to put Jacqueline to sleep, the sound of breaking furniture and loud shouting erupted from their neighbor's house. Little David's mother, Sarah, weak from repeated beatings, cried out for help. A powerful voice cut through the chaos. "Stop hitting her! Do you want to kill her?" Mr. O'Connor had rushed over, anger blazing in her eyes. "This is not your business," David's father spat, stepping forward aggressively. But Mr. O'Connor stood firm. "This is my business when a man beats his wife." Like an animal, he declared, pushing the door open wider. Seizing the moment, Sarah grabbed her son, David, and ran past them, tears streaming down her swollen face. Her husband's furious voice thundered behind her. "Come back here, you stupid woman. If you walk out from that door, don't ever come back." But Sarah didn't stop. Mrs. O'Connor quickly pulled the trembling woman and her son into their warm house, holding Sarah's hand firmly. "You don't have to go back. He doesn't deserve you," she said with kindness. That night, Mr. and Mrs. O'Connor fed and comforted Sarah and David, introducing them to little Jacqueline. A new family was formed. Mr. O'Connor, a wealthy businessman, took David as his own son, enrolling him in the same prestigious school Jacqueline attended. But life wasn't without its shadows. One night, Jacqueline's scream pierced the peaceful home. Sarah and David rushed into her room to find her coiled up, gripping her chest in pain. Her parents were at her side, Mrs. O'Connor frantically pressing a damp cloth to her forehead. "Why am I always sick, Mama?" Jacqueline wept through tears. Fighting her own emotions, Mrs. O'Connor forced a smile. "Because you're special, my love, and special people need special care," she whispered. When Jacqueline finally drifted into a troubled sleep, Mrs. O'Connor ran to the balcony and broke down in tears. Sarah followed, asking gently, "What's wrong with Jacqueline?" Mrs. O'Connor revealed in a broken voice, she had sickle cell disease. "We knew the risk, but we were young and in love. We thought we could escape fate. It hurts to see my little girl in pain, and I can't do anything about it." Sarah held her tightly and said with faith, "God heals my sister. He sees your pain. There is nothing impossible for him. You are not alone." Those comforting words brought Mrs. O'Connor a glimmer of hope. Listening quietly behind the door, David made a silent promise to himself. Jacqueline needed him, and he will always be there for her. Years passed, and David and Jacqueline grew into teenagers. David, intelligent and handsome, was adored by many at school and even became the head boy. Jacqueline, equally brilliant, preferred to stay out of the spotlight. Whenever anyone at school tried to hurt Jacqueline because of her condition, David was there, firm, protective, making sure they apologized and never dared mistreat her again. When their final exams approached, they studied hard together. The day their results were released, they checked their phones side by side. "I passed," Jacqueline screamed with joy. David smiled warmly. "Me too." In their excitement, they hugged and jumped up and down. That evening, their parents celebrated with a feast. Mr. O'Connor, beaming with pride, asked them what they wished to study. David chose architecture, and Jacqueline, with a bright smile, chose business administration. Mr. O'Connor nodded approvingly. "So, you want to become a business tycoon like your father, huh?" he teased. Jacqueline grinned and nodded. "Yes, Dad." He patted her gently on the back and said proudly, "That's my girl." After the celebration, Mr. O'Connor turned to David with a serious look and said, "My son, would you like to study in the US? My wife and I have already discussed this with your mother, but we want to hear from you directly. Is this something you want?" David's eyes widened in shock and excitement. "Yes, sir," he exclaimed, but then hesitated. "Am I the only one going?" Mr. O'Connor smiled sadly and said, "I wanted Jacqueline to go too, but with her health condition, I can't risk sending her so far from us. She needs our care and support." Those words shattered Jacqueline's heart. Before Mr. O'Connor could even finish speaking, she ran to her room, locked the door, and burst into tears. Jacqueline had always known she was different, but for the first time, her condition felt like a prison. Her best friend, her brother, her confidant, her protector was leaving, and she could not go with him. She sobbed bitterly, her heart breaking. The mood in the house grew heavy. Mr. and Mrs. O'Connor, along with David's mother, gathered at Jacqueline's door, calling her name, pleading for her to open up. Mr. O'Connor knocked gently, his voice filled with sorrow. "Jacqueline, please open the door, my dear." Finally, she unlocked it. Mr. O'Connor wrapped his arms around her and said, "You are our only child. Your mother and I can't bear to be far from you, especially knowing how much we need you. Please forgive me, my child." Jacqueline wiped her tears and whispered, "I understand, Daddy." Later that night, David found her sitting alone on the balcony. She looked up at him and whispered, "Promise me that no matter where you go, we will always be best friends." "I promise," David said, squeezing her hand. "No one will ever replace you." When the day of David's departure came, the family drove to the airport. His mother clung to him, tears filling her eyes. "Remember who you are, where you come from, and the values we raised you with. Study hard and make us proud." David turned to Mr. O'Connor and bowed respectfully. "Thank you for everything, sir. I promise to succeed and return with honor." They embraced tightly, tears flowing freely as David boarded the plane, leaving behind the only home he had ever known. After settling in the US, David called home to announce his safe arrival. His family was thrilled to hear his voice. Later that evening, he and Jacqueline caught up over the phone. Jacqueline resting in bed, excitedly shared that she had received admission to the University of Lagos UNILAG. She will be starting in a few weeks. David congratulated her warmly. When Jacqueline's matriculation day arrived, her parents, David's mother, and other families gathered to celebrate. They took joyful pictures and basked in the happiness of new beginnings. That evening, Jacqueline sent David photos of the celebration. Teasing her, David said, "You're getting really beautiful these days." Jacqueline laughed and replied, "What do you mean? My beauty is unmatched. If anyone is finer than me, they should be arrested for it." They both burst into laughter, their bond as strong as ever. Stay tuned for part 2. Go nowhere.